Hey guys! Now before you start this video, if you haven't watched the video on how to solve multi-step equations, please make sure to go check that out first, because this is essentially a more specific or continuation of that video. That being said, in this video, we're going to take a deeper look into multi-step equations and look at special types of solutions that we can sometimes see. So let's start with this first one here called no solution. So no solution is when the equation you're left with doesn't make any sense at all. In other words, there's not a single number that will satisfy this equation. So what we're going to do is just solve the equation and see what happens. Now I'm going to write my acronym, don't call me after midnight, here on the left. That way I can keep track of what I'm doing. So step 1, D, distribute. I have parentheses, I can for sure distribute. So we're going to distribute this -4 into those parentheses. -4 times 2x becomes -8x. And -4 times 1 becomes -4. And everything else we're going to copy down. All right, next is going to be combine like terms. Now, if I look at just one side, so the left side of my equation, there aren't any like terms there that I can combine. When I look at the right side of my equation, same thing. I don't have any like terms, so we are going to skip that step. Our third step is to move the smaller variable. Now, both variables are -8, so it doesn't really matter which one we move since they're the same number. So just for the sake of it, I'm going to move either one. We'll say the one on the right to the other side. Since it's a negative, I'm going to add it. And when I do this, they both cancel out. And we're left with -4 is equal to -2. Now, that doesn't make any sense. -4 will never be the same as -2, so this would be called no solution. It is just not possible. Sometimes you'll also see this symbol to represent no solution as well. Now, let's look at the opposite of this. So over here to the right, let's take a look at infinite solutions. Now, infinite solution is when whatever's left does make sense. So in other words, every single number could satisfy this equation. Every number would work. So we're going to draw our line. We're going to rewrite that acronym just to keep track of our steps. And here we go. Step 1 is distribute. I have parentheses, I can distribute. So we're going to multiply everything inside the parentheses by 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times -3x is -9x. And everything else we're going to copy down. Next, I need to combine like terms. So if I look on the left side, there's nothing there that are like, so I can't combine. But on the right side, I can combine the 3 and the -8. Now remember, when combining like terms, we're not moving stuff to the other side of the equation, so we're not going to do the opposite. We're actually going to follow what the equation says and just simplify. So my equation has a +3 and a -8, so we are going to do 3 minus 8, which gives us -5. Then we copy everything else down. Next, we need to move the smaller variable, and just like in the last example, they're both the same, so it doesn't really matter which one I move. So let's say I want to move this time the one on the left. Since it's a -9, the opposite would be to add 9. And again, they both cancel out, so we're left with -5 equals -5. The same number will always equal itself, so this 100% makes sense, and we would call this infinite solutions. Sometimes people also write the infinity symbol, and they might even reference things like all real numbers as well when discussing infinite solutions. And those are the two types of solutions you can see when your equation cancels out all of the variables.